It is time to begin. We greet all who joined in. Ready, set, go is our theme. Better achievements is our dream. Ready, where visions rise and hopes ignite, a spark that turns the darkness bright. Set, with plans aligned and purpose clear, we face the path without fear. Go, our hearts in stride, our spirits bold, we chase the dreams we long to hold. Each step we take, our courage grows, like a river finding where it flows. Today we start, today we claim the strength within our steady flame. Together onward, watch us soar. We are built to strive, achieve, and more. And as our goals begin to grow, we honor those who help us glow. So, with hearts aligned and spirits steady, we welcome President Vicky, strong, bright, and ready.
Oh, God. You know, Tamara, if you could just call me every single morning and give me a message of hope, I would so appreciate that. Welcome, everyone, to Masters of Evaluation, our first meeting in 2026. We are so thrilled to have you all here and our guests. And a couple things. One, we are recording this meeting, but we have two contest speakers. And for those speakers, Kyle and Mike, I will not put the recording out for anyone but you. I will send you your recording and your evaluation. So you'll have that on your own, but it will not be on the formal YouTube file. Second, John White, Mike will be late. He's going to show up around 9:30. And that's perfect because his speech starts at 9:34. So we'll have everyone here. I think we have all the people in place, but I'll leave that to our Toastmaster, Kathy Choice, to talk about in a minute. And I'd like to start with a welcome to our guests. I'm just going to kind of do them on my screen as I see them. Kyle Murtaugh, welcome back. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course, it's great to be back once again. Been a while, actually. I'm Kyle. I'm from Scotland. I have a club here in Glasgow, Scotland, Central Toastmasters, and I think I was at Masters of Evaluation maybe 2 years ago, and I'm back again for the same reason, to practice a speech, because I love your feedback.
Thank you very much, Kyle. And now I'd like to call on Anne. Anne, can you get on camera and get off mute and say hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
I'm actually calling in from work today. I have been with Toastmasters 4 years now, and I saw this on Facebook, and I decided I wanted to join to see what this was all about.
Wonderful. And what club are you in and where?
I am in Gastonia, North Carolina, and I'm also in 2 other clubs within North Carolina. One is a specialty club, Eat Your Words, and the other is an advanced club, Advanced Toastmasters of Asheville.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. And thanks to Sandra Savage for her genius marketing. She sends our notes out, and we attract great people like you. So thank you. Marty, welcome. And could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Marty, and I was invited by Treja Savagoto, I believe it is. And I think I've been here once before, but I don't recall. I think I remember the Poet Master at the beginning, and that's a very unique feature. So it's standing out for me. A unique and awesome feature. I don't know what else you want to know.
Where are you in the world?
I'm in Washington State in Seattle.
Oh, great. Well, one thing, we don't have a Poet Master. I think were you here when Pat Caslin from Ireland did a poem?
It's possible. It's very similar to what happened with the lady that opened the meeting this morning.
Oh, well,
Remember that.
That's our girl.
Yeah.
That's the SAA with all of it going on. So thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Alex, hello.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alex McCarney. I'm calling in from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I've been a Toastmaster since 2019. I'm the current Vice President of Membership at BeyondWords.club, Beyond Words Advanced Toastmasters Club.
And you were you have a meeting you invited us to tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. All of the information is right on the front page. So if you go to the front page, you'll be able to join it.
The front page of what?
The front page of the homepage of the website, beyondwords.club.
Okay, thank you. And Teresa, welcome back. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself besides being a repeat offender?
Hi, everybody. I'm Teresa. Michael, nice to see you. Sandra, nice to see you. Oh, so many buddies here today. My name's Teresa Savadago, and I am an American expat living in northern Baja, Mexico. I'm a member of Keynotes and More Toastmaster Club in District 84. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming back. And now I would like to do the educational moment provided by our own VPE, Dr. Gwendolyn Abington. But I have some very sad news. Gwendolyn wrote to me this morning and said her mother passed away early this morning. She couldn't make it, but she's such a professional. She sent me her educational moment, which I would like to now read to all of you. So here's what she called it. Ready, set, go. Speak your way to Smedley Distinguished. Fellow Toastmasters, today's meeting theme is Ready, Set, Go. There is no better way to describe how clubs become Smedley Distinguished, one speech at a time. Let's start with ready. Being ready in Toastmasters means understanding that Pathways is not something extra, it is the program. Every pathway level and every speech given moves both the member and the club forward. When members know what level they are working on and what project is next, they are already halfway to success. Clubs that become Smedley Distinguished are ready because members are clear on their goals and prepared to step up to the lectern. Next is set. Set is about intuition and commitment. This is where scheduling meetings matter. Scheduling speeches matter. When members place themselves on the agenda consistently, whether it's a level 1, 2, or beyond, they create momentum. Once completed level equal, one educational award, and those directly support the Distinguished Club program. Being set means not waiting for the perfect moment, but saying yes to speaking opportunities, even when life is busy. Progress happens when members are on the agenda. And then comes go. Go is the action step and the difference maker. Clubs become Smedley Distinguished when members give the speech, submit the project, and complete the level. It's about participation. When members go, pathway levels are completed, awards are earned, and new members are inspired to do the same. So here's your takeaway. Are you ready to become Smedley Distinguished MOEers? Ready with a plan, set with commitment, and willing to go by giving speeches? Success follows naturally. Let's challenge ourselves to get on the agenda, complete our levels, and speak our way to excellence. Ready, set, go. And this was all in caps. Smedley Distinguished, here we come. Let's go, MOE. Okay, that was my best dramatic reading of that wonderful educational moment. Thank you, Dr. Gwendolyn. Our thoughts are with you. I don't know, losing a mother is just, there's nothing like it. So we want you to know that we're thinking of you. And without further ado, I would like to turn this meeting over to our very own Kathy Choice, who is the Toastmaster of the day. Kathy Choice, take it away.
Thank you so very much, Vicki, and everyone else that's here in attendance today. Our theme of Ready, Set, Go, I think, is so perfect for the first meeting of the year. And to me, what ready represents is being prepared, or the preparation, all this historical stuff that's behind us. The set was for January 1st, and the go is today, where we are right now, here in the present, in this meeting of MoE. And with that, I would like to transition to the goal, which would be to introduce you all to the team, because of course Toastmasters meetings don't happen in a vacuum, and we need a team to make this happen. So first, to the virtual lectern, I would like to bring our Zoom master, who is John Graham. So John, can you tell us about what you're doing here today?
Just a little bit. I'm going to be attempting to highlight speakers and their evaluators during the course of the meeting, and also, of course, table topics. So that's my job, and I'll try to do the best I can. Thank you. Do we have a word for the day?
We're getting to that.
Oh, okay. I was going to try to jump in, but all right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. And next, our general evaluator, who is Tamara Evans. So can you tell us about your job here today?
I'll be all ears today, from the very start to the very end, so that I can give my evaluation of the meeting as a whole, and also I will focus on the evaluators. I will lead the team of evaluators. So I'm looking forward to a wonderful meeting today.
Thank you so very much, Tamara. Next, we have our word of the day grammarian counter, who is Mary Pryor, but I am not seeing her. So I'm going to skip over that. I'm going to...
Hey, Kathy, I was going to offer up a word.
Okay, that is fine.
And I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay.
The word of the day, is cohesion. And the definition is the action or fact of forming a united whole. Unity, togetherness, solidarity, and bond. So I by mistake put the whole image in there for you, or a whole PowerPoint presentation, but the word of the day is cohesion.
Thank you so very much, Sandra, for our word of the day. However, in order to have a cohesive meeting, we still need to have a grammarian and an counter. So is there someone who would like to step up and into that role for today? Don't everyone speak all at once.
Hi, it's Teresa. I'll do the grammarian.
Okay, who is this?
Teresa?
Teresa. Okay, Teresa. Thank you so very much. Can you just give us even though everyone should know, can you just give us a quick overview of what your role is for today, please?
I'll be looking for use of the word of the day and interesting phrases used throughout the meeting. Back to you.
Thank you so very much, Teresa.
I believe Marty, did I see your hand go up too?
Yeah, you did.
You want to do the eye counter?
Sure.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay, so Marty, thank you so very much for taking this role. And can you just give us a quick overview of what your role is as the counter?
Certainly, Madam Toastmistress. As the counter, my job is to listen carefully to identify instances where we use verbal parasites instead of doing something more productive with our speech. I'm referencing words like and, so, like, as well as repeated statements and other garbage diction that detracts from the conveyance of your message. I will record those, and when called upon, provide a report to let us know just how excellently we did. Challenge me, because I am listening carefully. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so very much, Marty. And you're definitely going to have me on my toes, because when I heard word parasite, I'm like, oh my God. You're going to have me overthinking everything that comes out of my mouth this morning. Moving on. Next, we have our timer, who is Venice Rowe. So, Venice, can you tell us about... I don't see Venice. Okay. Is there someone that is able to be our timer for Venice? Don't everyone speak up all at once. Come on, timer is the easiest job here. Michael, thank you for being our timer, for volunteering to be our timer. Can you tell us what your role is as our timer today?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure, Madam Toastmaster, Mistress of the Day. I am going to keep you on task. This time is a harsh mistress as well, and we must be timed to the appropriate lengths of time. I will find some background cards, and when you reach your minimum time, I'll flash a green background, yellow for the midpoint of your time, and red for the 30-second warning to wrap up. I also am excited to be doing this job because I couldn't handle the silence. And I was like, all right, I'll put my hand up. And here I am. Back to you.
Thank you so very much, Michael. And whatever it takes to get it done, because you were at the go. I just left that hanging. Sorry.
That's time.
Thank you so very much, Michael. Next, I'd like to bring to the virtual lectern Vicki, who is going to be the evaluator for our speech number 2. So, Vicki, I turn the lectern over to you so that you can introduce the speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Today, we have a speech by our own Trudy, who will be doing a level 2 in Pathways, Understanding Your Leadership Style. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech. Michael, could you raise your hand so you're in the upper left-hand corner? No, not those hands. Your virtual hands, so you get over in the corner. Let's see. So let me introduce her and give you the title of her speech. In my daily life, I am in contact with the youth, seniors, and aged. Depending on circumstances, interacting with the different age groups, I have learned how to reason to find comfort level for interacting. It can be taxing at times, but knowing my personal self in terms of leadership, I feel together we can find a comfortable atmosphere to communicate and find satisfaction in accomplishing our activities or goals. I'd like to now introduce our speaker, Trudy Charles Young. Impact of my leadership style on others. Impact of my leadership style on others. Trudy Charles Young.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster and my evaluator for calling me to the lectern. My talk today was on my leadership style, being involved with different people, and also my lifestyle, having a child. I didn't put it in my introduction, but basically that's what it comes down to. My leadership style. In order to know my leadership style, I had to complete a questionnaire. And in completing the questionnaire, the analysis and in identifying my leadership style, I ended up in a balanced category with even scores for the attributes I have as a person, and to be a successful leader, and with the exception of one with a lower score that can complement my leadership style or influence how I handle my attributes and leadership. 3 out of the 7 leadership styles are my strongest. When I have been in initiating a project, which I would talk about to give you an idea, and my project that I would initiate is about home care. In home care, you encounter the youth, the adult, little children, but for me in particular, it involves my child. And I was a worker at home and had to go back to work. A home care business was established in the community where I live. I had to find help for my circumstances as a mother planning to return to work. That's not easy. What should I do? I looked at my strongest leadership styles, and for this kind of situation, I had authoritative. As my key point here is to motivate and inspire enthusiasm working with a team for my mission, meaning to have a business. Innovative was my second one, as the initiator of my idea to bring it across so I can find help, and needed to share my vision of such a business in the community. I also wanted to be together, sharing responsibility as members, to respect the team and the creativity of the team, and to work collaboratively together to achieve our shared objective and goals. It means I don't have anybody yet, so I'll have to find people. Democracy was extremely important to me, for we all must accept and rely on consensus making to allow a business or any business to strive, especially one that has not been established as yet. Finding home care for my situation was not easy. Tell you why. I arrived in St. John expecting a baby, had one, of course, and didn't have a network. I was still working at the time, then I had my child, stayed home, etc. I'm planning to return to work. Now, what do you do if you are not from the country, you're living in a new province, in a new environment, and you have to rely on your community to help you if you have absolutely no family here, and especially looking for some home care because you want to get back into the community with adults. And of course, you love your baby, but you also need some contact with adults. So my colleagues on the job connected me with professional women with similar situation like mine. We found 5 women. We embraced the same ideas and we shared similar interests. That was very, very important. A combination of our personal lives and interest to serve our community definitely led to the birth of my idea and being a professional and being our home care business. We call the business First City Agency. Tell you why. First City Agency was called that way because I couldn't find an agency that could help me find a person. That was difficult. So my prime purpose to have an agency and sell that idea to individuals who can help me, 5 women, mothers who came on board. The prime purpose is to provide home care services to mothers who were returning to the workforce. Also, we wanted to extend it to provide families with senior parents living at home with them or alone in their own home. There could be other conditions. There could be someone who, a child, adult child that had other problems and they needed somebody to be there. So we just call it senior parent so we can establish the business. We all had a need and know if our plan did work out to serve our purpose and the need for the community, we can say we have succeeded our goals. The employees in their placement for years, the employees stayed in their placement for years. And that was so important that they could stay in the placement for years. It helped us. Why did it help us? Because when The children grew up and the seniors probably no longer there. The business had a name. It was a successful business. The employees stayed there, so it was a good recommendation for us. We achieved our goals and we were successful in what we wanted to achieve. I don't see my timer. I don't know why. Anyway, but this was my introduction to finding my personal strength by doing this evaluation and knowing where I'm at. So, in all, authoritative was my strength, innovation was my strength, and democracy was my strength to pull this business together and to be able to let it be an example in the community, even if we give this business up, which it was taken over by the college where I work, and it was preceded by allowing this business to be even a lot stronger. So it's just working together as a team. We say, step, 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 all set, go. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so very much, Trudy, for your speech, and so that we can have some, so that all of our speakers can have a cohesive experience, I'm going to ask the timer to give us 60 seconds so that everyone can send a message to Trudy.
That's time.
Thank you so very much, Michael. And can you give us a quick timing report for the speeches, please?
Happy to do that. Yes, for Kyle, we are at 6:55. For Trudy, 7:42. And for Mike, 7:29.
Oh,
Okay, thank you so very much for your timers report. And of course, we're going to put you back on the clock again because I'd like to bring to the virtual lectern our table topics mistress, who is Sandra Savage for today.
Thank you, Kathy. First, I'd like to go over how we do SNAP evaluations for table topics. When you're asked a question, you'll have the normal 2 minutes to give a reply. But then I'm going to pick on someone unexpectedly to give an immediate evaluation, not a continuance of the story, not a repeat of what they said, but your opinion on how they could have answered or enacted their answer better. So I'm going to pick on Teresa first, because she knows how the game plays. And I know, Teresa, your question is, you have had a lot of new beginnings in your life, not necessarily aligned with January. Tell me, how do you decide on something you're going to make stick? Something that's important and you're determined to complete it.
I love that Sandra knows me well enough to ask that question. And I think what's interesting about what sticks is I personally spend a lot of time thinking about my future self and what does she need? What can I equip her with in order to set her up in the very best way possible? Almost like raising a child, like how do you equip them with skills to face the world? But what are the skills and the shortcomings that I have that I need to fix and mold? But then also, where am I going? And what are the skills that would support me in a more meaningful way for the next chapter in my life? I also spend a lot of time interviewing people who are doing the thing that I think I want to do, and I look for excellence. I'm constantly looking for people who are excellent at the thing that would be really valuable. As an example, I love Sandra's use of PowerPoint slides and informative. I'm a visual learner and I remember things much more clearly when they are written down. And a lot of what happens in a Toastmaster meeting is verbal. And without having a written format, it took me a long time for me to catch up and get on with the program. And it's very, very helpful as a visual learner, which they say almost 80% of the population has a visual learning component, and that helps get into deep memory. And so looking for what are the things that are helpful for me and who are the people that have those skills that actually complement my own learning style is very helpful. I'm looking for the timer and I don't see them with their hand up. And so I feel like I'm kind of filling space here. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But at the end of the day, I look for excellence. I'm looking for what are the skills and what are the gaps in my own expertise and who's got the knowledge that can help me fill that gap and accelerate it in a really meaningful way. And then finally, understanding my own shortcomings and how I learn best so that I can set myself up for the next chapter. Thank you so much, Sandra. Back to you.
Thank you, Teresa. And I'd like you to stick around while I ask our club president to give a snap evaluation. Vicki.
Now, how did I know you were going to do that? All right, couple things. One, Teresa, you're the second person that says you haven't seen the speaker. Michael, make sure you keep your hand up. But I would suggest at the beginning, you identify where the time, not the speaker, you identify where the timer is. Do you see him now? I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Oh, thank you. It's interesting that his hand is up now. I don't know if it was before,
No.
but it wasn't on my screen. So
Right. So that's really important for our timer to keep the hand up and for you to make sure you know where the timer is. Same thing happened with Trudy, and Michael's hand was up, I think, for her speech. First of all, or finally, very, very good speech. There's one thing I'd like you to do. You started to talk in the third person at first. What does she need? And I'm thinking, why don't you say, what do I need? And then you switched over to I. Either stay with she or stay with I, but excellent, excellent job. Thank you.
Okay, our next question, I'm going to ask another guest, Alex. Alex, when you run into a problem after starting a new project, do you give up or do you push and get it done?
Well, I have two P's. First I panic and then I push. There is a cohesion between the two, the panic and the push, but I really have to get my rear in gear in order to go forward. So I tend to be a very impetuous person. Don't really plan all that well, but what happens is that from that panic, when I'm on the back foot, sometimes I get that little impetus, that little scintilla of light and hope, and then I'm able to push. I don't know what it is. I believe that this fear, perhaps, this uncertainty, because we all live with uncertainty, but maybe I can turn that uncertainty into, well, a little bit more certainty, certainly more concrete. I think it's a problem of going from the abstract and the abstract thinking to concrete action. And then you put in together all of your smart stuff and all of your plan, do, check, act, Deming cycle kind of things. But first, you have to have the gift of fear, the gift of not doing it, the gift of failure. And then you're going to say, well, I better do something. Just like this speech. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Alex. And Ray, I'm going to pick on you next. I'd like for you to come back with a 1-minute snap evaluation for Alex.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master. Alex, I love the way you hit the stage. Humour on the spot. 2 P's. Keep it nice and simple. Excellent cohesive word selection, if I may say. Some of them rhymed. You imparted your story upon us of uncertainty and where it took you and how it led you to taking action, the fear of failure and the need to do something. However, if I may be so bold and give you a slight feedback, wrap it up nice and tightly in a bow and give us something to think about. I felt that was missing at the end. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Ray. Marty, you're up. What tools and resources do you use? And I'd like you to come up with the craziest idea that has worked to get a project done. Marty.
Thanks for the question, Madam Topic Mistress. The term crazy or unusual would suggest potentially something that's negative. But I think that human beings are kind of fickle. They look for the opportunity for something to be engaging and dynamic and different. You know, we like bright, shiny things, those elements that stand out. And when I'm thinking about a project that's really challenging, that's kicking the butts of the people that are involved in it, that's what I'm looking for. What can I do to disrupt however it is that things are proceeding so that we can reset and consciously move towards whatever that sought goal is. So I don't see it as crazy, though on the receiving end it may be. I've had an instance, for example, where we were pushing really hard towards a deadline and I felt guilty about asking my team to do more. And so instead of asking them to do more, I said, we're going to have an impromptu meal together. Our lunch period will be 2 hours. It'll be a working lunch, but it's going to be a uniquely working lunch. And I spent $100 to bring in Subway sandwiches, chips, and cookies. Not a lot of money for about 15 people. And during that time, I said, as you are sitting and you're eating with your peers, you need to think about ways that we can reduce the time burden on this project. And you would be surprised to know that A, they didn't feel like they were working, though I actually paid them for that time because it was a working lunch. And the ideas that were generated as they were chewing were unique and bold and represented the comfort that they were feeling as they were striving towards this goal. So if that type of disruption is crazy, I suggest you look for crazy, and perhaps crazy is not a bad thing. It's all a matter of your perspective, but whatever you're doing to make that cohesive outcome for your team, you should keep doing it. Madam Topic Master.
Thank you very much. Anne, our other guest here today, I'm dying to hear you give a snap evaluation for Marty.
Marty, I love how you turn the word crazy from a negative into a positive. That's a very unique perspective because I don't think a lot of people would have that same insight. And when you were asked about the tools and the resources, you were very creative of how you engaged your team to help you come up with solutions. The one thing I caught was, and this is something very small, you said, you know. And I think sometimes I lose the message slightly when I hear that because I may not know, and I think the reference is that it's assumed that I might know. But other than that, I think it was a very creative answer, and I think you used a very creative solution to figure out the problem.
Excellent. Do I have time for one more?
Do we? Let's see.
All right. Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
All right.
And I'm going to pick on Kyle, our other guest, even though he's been a speaker. I want to hear your answer to, so you're done. You finished it. You met your goal. How do you celebrate?
There is one thing that I do. Anytime I complete some form of big goal in my life. And this one thing, it's almost a ritual. It's almost become part of my identity. I order myself a big double cheeseburger, and I have a huge bottle of something called Iron Brew. Now, for my American friends, you probably don't know what Iron Brew is. It's essentially a Scottish Coca-Cola, okay? The taste is indescribable, so I won't even try. What you must know is it is packed with sugar, alright? And I drink this whole bottle like I've just won the Super Bowl or something like this while eating my burger. And what happens every time is once I get to that moment in the night where I want to put my head down, I want to get a little bit of sleep, I want to feel refreshed for the next day, I can't sleep. I am on the ceiling. It's almost like I've been taking narcotics because I've got so much sugar in my system. So there's always this period around 4 a.m. in the morning where I'm full of regret. I'm wishing that I had never achieved that goal in the first place, actually. Because now I'm bloated because of the burger and high because of the Iron Brew. And so it's kind of a cycle of destruction, I would say, anytime I achieve a goal. So it's much better when I fail and I continue to be in the pursuit. And I think you, I, and everyone in the universe deep down truly knows that that is where the real gain is made. When you're in the pursuit. When you're making progress. When you achieve the goal, it's never as satisfying as you think. But when you're progressing, that's when you truly feel alive.
Thank you, Kyle. And here's my reward system, a Milky Way bar. But I have to ask Lynn Gilbert, a very successful photographer, to give an immediate feedback to Kyle on how he celebrates success.
Kyle, I was fascinated by what you chose to do for success, and also admire you that you could indulge yourself at a moment when you've had the success, but that you also look at it in a forward look and what it is doing to you at the moment, and realizing ultimately that what is important in life is pursuing the goal, not the success. And what was interesting is that in this talk, where we're talking about how do you celebrate, you are intellectual and you're thinking enough to know what is it that matters in life. And what is it that matters is that when you are up against an obstacle, that you choose to keep going, and your growth is how you are pursuing it. It's not about the success. I think it was a great talk, and I learned a lot from you. And I'm not going to have a cheeseburger, and I'm not going to have a brew.
All right. Thank you all very much. I hope you enjoyed these questions and, more importantly, the evaluations. I'm turning the meeting back 3 minutes late, so let's skip right to our timer to get a report on our table topics.
Sure, and to keep it real succinct, everyone was on time. Marty was the closest to going over at 2 minutes and 27 seconds, and as well as the SNAP evaluations also on time.
Perfect. Well, let's turn the meeting then back to our Toastmaster, Kathy Choice. You're on mute.
Thank you so very much, Sandra. And in the interest of time, I am going to immediately turn the meeting over to our general evaluator, Tamara.
It's such a pleasure to be a general evaluator because this role requires being focused all the time on everything you can hear. And so I enjoyed the speeches tremendously, but now it's time to give the floor to evaluators. And thank you very much, John. And I hope that your evaluation was very useful to Kyle. Now, Vicky will ask you to evaluate Trudy's speech.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. Trudy, wonderful job. If you could pin Trudy as well, John, that would be great. Wonderful job on this speech. You have a real warmth when you speak, and that matters. So you're easy to listen to. Now, I have a lot of ideas for you because I know what a good speaker you are, and I want to elevate your speaking. Now, when you opened, the rule is I start listening when you hook me. You went on and on about here's what I'm going to talk about, here's my speech. All of that could have been lost. In fact, you were a little over, I believe, and I'm going to check when I record it. If you hadn't said all that before you got to the meat of it, you wouldn't have been over time. And that is some sort of, Toastmaster crime to go over time. But when you open, get us hooked. Could you have started with first words out of your mouth? How do you measure your leadership style? Now you've got me thinking. I'm engaged in what you're doing. What 3 leadership styles are your strongest strengths? Again, now you can pivot to the pathways that you did an assessment and you came up with your 3 strengths. You said you had 3 strengths and you didn't talk about them at first. And I got a little lost. So I would love you to, just an idea, to form this speech around your 3 strengths: innovative, authoritative, and democracy. And give examples of each one that you've used. Now, I'm a little confused. I don't know if you're currently a caregiver. You started to talk about that, I believe, now. Is that right? That you're currently doing caregiving? Yes? No. See, I got confused. I thought you were currently serving as a caregiver. And then when you went back to being a mother and hiring caregivers, that's when I got confused. Because when you talk about the impact of your leadership style on others, I want to know that it's relevant to today. So here's how I would have thought about doing that. I love the past story. Nothing wrong with that. But then bring those ideas forward. How did you're not a young mother anymore. So you learned some great lessons. How have you used that in the present? That would have been really helpful. And you're strongest when you're looking at the camera. I'm looking over at you right now, but I'll look at the camera. When you make eye contact with the camera, that's where you're strongest. And remember, you know your stories. You know your story as a young mother. You don't need to be reading it. And when you look down, I lose contact with you. So try to have more eye contact. Finally, you brought up college at the end. That, again, confused me. You brought in a new element, and I didn't know where you were going. I would love you to have a call of action to say, I want you to think about your 3 leadership styles and how they affect you going forward. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Gisela. Now it's time to listen to our grammarian. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who volunteered at the last moment.
Oh, hi, it's
To be
Teresa.
a grammarian.
Thank you, Tamara. It's Teresa. I got it. So today for our word of the day, I heard John, Kathy, Ray, Marty, and Sandra use it. So thank you very much. I took pages and pages of notes. So I'm just going to go through here real quick. And I absolutely loved some really great phrases around. I did like the misinformation and viciously murdered. Marty had verbal parasites. What a great turn of phrase that was. Let's see. I liked Mike's talking about yellow means floor it. I'm 20 minutes late. And could I be the next headline? That really stuck with me. And as a visible minority, and brought in that stereotypes. I thought that was interesting. Alex saying, I have two P's, panic and push, and get my rear in gear to go forward. And then he also used on the back foot. I haven't heard that phrase in a long time. And a scintilla of hope and light. That's A plus on the vocabulary here. Ray on imparting your story and wrap it up nice and tight with a bow and give us something to think about. I love that. Marty disrupting on how things are proceeding. Anne talked about her crazy and turned a negative into a positive, creating answers and solutions. Kyle, it's packed with sugar and I drink this thing like I won the Super Bowl. There's so many more. This is such a great group and it really rich. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. Tamara, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Tressa. Looks like it's now time for me to share my impressions as a general evaluator, right? I was really impressed.
Excuse me,
with
Tamara.
today.
Tamara, I think
No?
you have to call on the R counter.
Oh, our counter.
Who is Marty,
Okay.
correct, Marty?
Let's listen to the R counter. Marty, please.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Fellow Toasties, you gave me a little bit of a challenge today. I want to start by suggesting that we consider different types of adverbs to use instead of the word so. Consequently, therefore, accordingly, hence, ergo, any of those can be alternatives to using the word so. I say that because that was something that was proliferate in today's meeting. Let's start at the top. I only caught a few uhs and ums from Michael. Kathy, your favorite word is okay as a transition. Consider pausing instead of saying anything, but you did quite a masterful job considering how much you had to speak in today's meeting. John W., you used and a lot, and you had two instances where you said it was, something like that, where you duplicated. Again, pause when you're trying to work for that word. Kyle, this is quite miraculous. I listened very carefully to both instances when you spoke, and I did not hear anything that cluttered the conveyance of your message. Vicky, all right, and sorta. The only reason that I point them out is for the obvious reason, all right, you're using like other people use okay or like, but sorta would be better if you said sort of. Sorta is casual and it wasn't contextually appropriate. Trudy, you had double use of analysis, then you had a few ands, a lot of so's, and anyway. Anyway is something that we should consider not using because many people think it's dismissive. Gisela, you had a couple of doubles with your, thinking of. Mike, forgive me, I just had a message that popped up. You use so and maybe a lot as transitions. Again, a pause would be a good filler. I didn't catch anything from Sandra and I was listening carefully. Treka, your favorite is when you are going through your notes during your grammarian's report. Before that, kinda instead of kind of. Alex also had challenge with kinda, and Alex, you like to use the word well, and you also use problem twice. Ray, I heard well once. Marty, don't do that, Marty. And Anne, you said gonna instead of going to. And finally, Lynn, I heard you use a few ands where transition words would have been better, and you too said gonna. That concludes my unconscious report. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. It was such a deep, such a profound analysis of many of the speakers. It's the first time I hear such a report. Thank you. Okay, now it's probably time for me. So I must say that the whole meeting was a great pleasure. I enjoyed every speech, every evaluation, every table topics insight. Interesting questions, interesting answers. But let me quickly start from the beginning. So we started on time. Guests were warmly introduced and welcomed. Educational moment was voiced by the president, even though we expected Gwendolyn to come and do it herself, but it wasn't lost. And in general, I must say, analyzing the beginning, that it was a great example of cohesion of our club's togetherness, solidarity, and bond, because it suddenly turned out no grammarian, then Teresa volunteered, no accounter, Marty volunteered, no timer, Michael volunteered immediately. So that's really cohesion in action. Now the speeches, very interesting, impressive and powerful speeches. Kyle, interesting, this very vivid description of atrocities, and then the expression shook off the fear. I remember that. And then the call to action, very important for everyone. Don't share stories if you are not sure they are true. And then the mystery was solved. What was meant by her in the title, beware of her. And all the time we were thinking, who does he mean? Who, her? And then we got it. And also, conclusion, you have the power to share the truth, which is important for every listener to hear. So, mighty call of action. Then, Trudy, interesting analysis of styles, but I would recommend more short and memorable phrases during your speech so that we can take away something which is easy to remember. But I noticed there was a good conclusion. It was connected with our theme for today, and it was connected with Toastmasters. So then, Mike, it was good that Mike took a second before the speech and checked the sound. I would recommend all the speakers to do this either before the meeting starts or take a second and make sure that everybody can hear you, because hearing properly was the problem a little bit with several people today. Then there was advice, a piece of advice, valuable piece of advice, which was repeated several times in Mike's speech. Never argue with the police, just apologize. And maybe not, it can be applied not only to police. Don't argue, just apologize to avoid conflicts. And another interesting idea, step forward and be proactive. When he left the car and tried to be proactive and apologize. Another interesting idea, it was a conflict between me and my own fear, not between me and the police. Very interesting ideas, powerful speech. and the choices we make alone. That's important. Okay, table topics. An interesting innovation I noticed today when the Zoom master pinned two people, the table topics master and the speaker, and then added the third, the snap evaluator. Very effective, very important, great idea. Well, I probably won't have time to mention everybody, but I remember that every table topic speaker today shared something important about themselves, which helped us to know them better, which again contributed to cohesion in our club. Alex mentioned panicking, then pushing, and the gift of failure. Ray evaluated him and recommended to give something to think about in the end. Then our evaluators, they really gave valuable advice. John mentioned enthusiasm, energy, humor, and the message. Everything was present there. And I would still support the euphemism which Kyle used in his speech. He called it misinformation. I would recommend to keep it like that and let the people, the listeners, in their mind call it a lie if they think so. And then Vicky really evaluated to elevate, gave a lot of good ideas and suggestions. Gisela shared her vision, and there were interesting suggestions there. So I already mentioned how profound and detailed analysis was of our counter today. Everybody performed their roles in a wonderful way, very powerfully there, with great energy, and I am impressed, and I'm sure everybody else is, and there is a great takeaway and great lessons we can all take away from our meeting. Thanks, everyone. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so very much, Tamara, and everyone else who has been here today. And in my closing words, I would just like to say one thing. Yes, we have the theme of Ready, Set, Go, and today is Go. But I'd like for everyone to be mindful and think of, before you go, think about how are you going to go and what are you going to do before you leap or before you jump with that go. And with that, I would like to turn this over to Trudy, who is...
No, Toastmaster.
Toastmaster, no, president.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm president. That's right.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so I'm turning this over to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Now, before you all go, we are out of time, which you know how much I hate that. We have to tighten this schedule up, but there's a few things we need to cover. I'll tell you what they are, so stick around. We're going to fill the agenda for the next meeting. I want to hear from the guests. And we want to talk about the mentorship program training that we've got coming up next Friday at 9 a.m., a non-Toastmaster meeting week. Sandra Savage, can you share your... Oh, look at Sandra Savage go. All right, everybody. John White has been spearheading a mentor training program for members only of MoE, and we are going to train our mentors next Friday. Not that they don't know what they want to do, but it's going to be tricks, and tips. So MoE will send out a reminder. If you want to be a mentor and you don't have to be a DTM or anything else, please sign up for this training. It'll be really good. I promise. We're going to be 1 hour. because you know I like our meetings. So we'll get it done in an hour and get you ready, set, go to be a great mentor to other members of the club. That's number one. Number two, I would like to hear from our guests today on the value that this meeting brought to you. And I'm going to start with Anne. Anne, what value did this meeting bring to you? And when are you going to join Toastmasters? That's actually two MoE. It's actually two questions, but feel free to answer whatever you want.
Well, I'll start with the second question. I already belong to Toastmasters.
I know, wrong question. MoE.
Wrong question. So I really got great value out of this meeting today, and I heard 3 wonderful speeches. They were all very different. But I really liked, Sandra, when you did the table topics, how you did the SNAP evaluations. I've never seen that done before, and I think that was very effective because I think that that teaches you that you need to actively be listening to everything that's happening in that meeting. And I think sometimes that gets lost. So I will definitely join you again. I wish I could join next week because I would like to get some tips and tricks. We're starting to get our mentoring program going in a formal manner. Perhaps maybe you can share your tips and tricks when you're done.
Membership has its privileges, Anne. I want you to join
know.
us. We're going to have a recording of it, but it's MoE members only. Sorry. You know, if we don't have something for you, why would you join us? But thank you, Anne, for being here today. You added a lot to the meeting. Thank you. And Marty, what value did we bring for you today?
It was a lively meeting. I enjoyed the speakers tremendously. Like I mentioned at the outset, the way that the meeting was opened by your SAA was quite impressive, and it did stand out from previous memory. And the tools that were shared in the chat, as well as the techniques demonstrated by everyone that gave feedback, I can shamelessly steal and repurpose in my other Toastmasters pursuits. So thank you for inviting me, Trekla, and thanks for having me, MoE.
Well, I would steal what you did, Marty, but I can't do what you did. So good on you. Thank you very much for your great evaluation of Oz and Ums. Teresa, thank you for coming back. You are a repeat offender here. We need you to join. That's all I'm going to say. No pressure. But what value did our meeting bring to you today?
I appreciate you calling me a repeat offender. I don't like the negative connotation. I like to think that I add some value, and if I join, I will continue to add value.
Yes,
So what I am, and I'm also really happy that Marty came. One of the things that I love about her is that you know, she's got elevated skills, and I was like, you know, sometimes when you have really elevated skills, you're in an environment where you're always contributing, not receiving. And I was like, I would like you to come and see what it's like to receive in an environment that is really elevating. And I specifically called out this group for that purpose. And so I just want to thank you, everybody here, for recognizing a high standard, maintaining a high standard. Many of the people have been in Toastmasters for a long time, and they're bringing all of those great skills that they've learned over the years and bringing them into this environment. And it was a great meeting. So I'm super excited. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for being a positive repeat offender, Tracy. Does that help? Just trying to clean that up for you a little bit.
No, let's find another term. Like,
all right.
Guest.
Okay. I'll look up other terms. And finally, and last but not least, Kyle Murtaugh, what value did our meeting bring for you today? And thank you for being back.
My pleasure. I've enjoyed it. It's been a lovely meeting, and the value was in the feedback. I thought John's evaluation was superbly entertaining and interesting, and he's given me something to think about there with the lie, misinformation. I'll need to make a decision on that, and I got to talk about Iron Brew, so I'm happy, you know. But no, honestly, it was a pleasure being here. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I've got to jump off right now to get my dinner over here, but I will certainly be back, and I'd love to come and maybe do another speech in the future.
Thank you, Kyle. Take the rest of the night off. Great job. And for all our guests,
so
you are free. All you members, please don't leave, but you guests may jump off if you'd like. Our VP of membership will contact you to say hello and see if you do have any interest in joining. So that's that. And finally, I'm going to share our agenda. All right. And with that, I'd like to say adieu to all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully for those members, everybody's a member. If you want to sign up for the mentor training, please do. It's going to be really fun, interactive, and educational. And we got to keep selling it for members only, because that's where membership has its privileges, just like a good credit card. Okay, everybody.